Previously, we hooked up a new API/transact post request for the Express application. However, this transact method was leading to bugs in a couple of scenarios. For one, updates to the existing transactions in the pool aren't working just yet through the API. Next, an invalid amount is causing a pretty ugly error to appear. Let's fix the latter issue first, since this one is more immediately addressable. The solution is going to be to introduce a JavaScript mechanism that is capable of handling errors around code. So the mechanism is going to be the try-catch block. So in our code, in our API/transact method, it's going to go like this. We're going to wrap our creation of the wallet transaction within a try. Essentially, we're trying to do this code. And then to handle the error objects that might appear as a result of this, we use the catch keyword after the closing body curly brace. And then we catch error objects, and then this error object has its own block where we can handle that actual error. Now, in the case that this error object is populated, in other words, that an error happened, or rather that an error was thrown during the create transaction process, let's respond to the user with some JSON. And then we'll mark this as a JSON type of error, and also include the message that is within the error object itself. So we'll map a message field to the error.message. Cool. Now there is one easy thing to miss about this res.json call. Just because we call res.json doesn't mean the rest of the JavaScript code in the block is going to stop. Now, definitely if we experience an error, we don't want to try setting the transaction in the pool. We don't want to log the transaction pool, even though that's just debug code. And we especially don't want to make it to the second res.json where we try to respond with the transaction itself. So in order to make sure that the rest of the code does not execute, we should add a return statement. So overall, we're calling return res.json. And the return keyword will make sure that the rest of the code in the method will not apply. Now, another thing for responses of the error type within HTTP is that we should apply a 400 status quote, which in HTTP stands for a bad request. You'll notice a lot that when you go to websites and you visit a page that isn't supported anymore, that you see this 404 HTML not found page. Well, this one is similar, but we're using the 400 response code since that is more generic, of it being a bad request. Okay. Another thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that this transaction is available to the entire method. So what we can do is we can first make the transaction dynamic. And then instead of having a constant of transaction that is confined to this try block, we'll set the transaction within the try block here. So that way, if it makes it past this without an error, it can still set that transaction object as its proper return value from create transaction. All right, cool. Now, another thing that we want to do for consistency's sake is provide a type in the final response as well. And in this case, the type is success, which is going to be the opposite of error. All right, very nice. Now let's save this and see if this update actually made a difference. So in the background, make sure the application is going with an npm run dev in the application project. If you don't have it going already, you can always refire npm run dev right in crypto chain. And then go ahead and open up your Postman application. What we want to do is we want to make a post request at HTTP localhost 3000/API/transact. We're going to select raw JSON application, JSON as the body field. The recipient can be anyone, but the amount should be something huge and invalid. Go ahead and send that request, and let's see the body now. And now we get something much more elegant. We get an object with the type of error, and the message is that the amount exceeds the bounce. Cool. Looks like the refactor went okay, at least from the response perspective. Also, if you check the command line, the output is much more clean and the application is still running. All right, woohoo. The next thing to fix now are transaction updates. So see you in the next one.